You've got goals, big ones. But let's be honest, something inside still asks, do I really have what it takes? You show up, you check the boxes, you read the books, listen to the podcasts, repeat the affirmations. But under the surface, that old voice lingers, not yet. It's not that you're not capable, it's that you haven't fully believed you are. This isn't about strategy. It's not about skill. It's about something deeper, identity. Napoleon Hill taught that all success begins with belief. But belief isn't passive. It's not a feeling that magically shows up one day. It's a decision backed by action. It's choosing to act as if you already are the person you want to become. This isn't fake it till you make it. It's act as if, with integrity. It's showing up with unshakable belief, even when your results haven't caught up yet. Because belief isn't born from evidence. Evidence is born from belief. And that's the shift most people never make. They wait. They wait to feel ready, to feel confident, to be validated. They wait for clarity before they move. But clarity doesn't come before the leap. It comes through it. The truth, you're not lacking potential. You're lacking permission from yourself. You've been conditioned to think confidence comes after results. But real self-confidence, it comes from aligning your actions with the identity you're stepping into. It's mental programming. It's training your thoughts, habits, and self-talk to match your vision, not your fears. That's where identity shift begins. The moment you stop living from your past and start creating from your future. It doesn't happen in one grand gesture. It happens in small choices, every single day. The moment you speak up when you usually stay silent. The moment you walk with presence instead of apology. The moment you move with intention, not impulse. This is how you master your mind. And yes, it's uncomfortable because your old self will resist. It's wired for safety. But safety isn't success. You weren't built to hide. You were built to expand. That expansion begins with a burning desire, not just to have more, but to be more. You don't need external proof. You need internal faith in yourself. The kind of faith that shows up when no one's watching. The kind of faith that says, I'm not here to wait. I'm here to lead. And leadership starts with decision. You decide to show up with persistence, even when it's inconvenient. You decide to take massive action, not to prove your worth, but to honor it. You decide that your self-image will no longer be shaped by the past, but by your future self calling you forward. This is not about pretending. It's about returning. Returning to the version of you who was never afraid to believe. You've just forgotten. And now, it's time to remember. Remember that the world reflects not what you want, but who you are being. And who you're being today shapes what becomes possible tomorrow. So here's the mirror moment. If you truly believed success was inevitable, how would you act? If you already were the version of yourself who made it, how would you speak, think, move? Act like it. Not to fake it, but to anchor it. Every decision you make today either feeds your fear or your future. You don't rise to your goals. You rise to your identity. Napoleon Hill didn't just teach principles. He taught posture. Walk with it, speak with it, think with it. Because your energy introduces you before your words do. And when your inner world aligns with who you say you are, the world responds. This isn't hype, it's alignment. You're not waiting for belief. You're choosing it. Right here, right now. This is how belief becomes behavior, and behavior becomes results. You've been pushing forward, showing up, executing, delivering. But if you're honest, you're tired. Not tired from the work, but tired from performing. You've been living from your mind. Now, your soul is calling. This isn't a breakdown, it's a breakthrough, disguised as fatigue. Napoleon Hill spoke of a burning desire, the kind that fuels action even when no one's watching. But sometimes the fire dims, not because you've lost the dream, but because you've lost yourself in the chase. This is your mirror moment, where strategy meets stillness, where performance gives way to peace, and where the only path forward is inward. You've been building, but have you been listening? Have you paused long enough to ask, am I creating from alignment or just momentum? Because massive action without direction is noise. And even the most disciplined plans will eventually collapse if they're built on someone else's blueprint. That's why healing matters. Because healing isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about remembering who you are beneath the proving, pushing, and pretending. It's about letting go of identities that were built on survival, so you can step into a self-image built on truth. This is the heart of mental programming, not affirmations shouted into the void, but quiet, radical honesty. It's rewiring how you see yourself, not as someone chasing worthiness, but as someone who never needed to. You've been acting like success is outside you, but it's always been within. You just forgot. You forgot that self-confidence isn't built by perfection. It's built by permission. The permission to rest, to feel, to question, to trust the real you, the one you buried under layers of expectation. Now is the moment to act as if your wholeness is already here. Not to fake it, but to align with it. Act as if you're already the version of you who leads with peace, not pressure. Who moves with persistence, not desperation. Who builds with presence, not panic. That version doesn't hustle for validation. She operates from unshakable belief, the kind that doesn't ask for proof, because her presence is already the evidence. She doesn't wait for applause to believe she's doing it right. She listens inward. She moves in truth. She doesn't just want success. She embodies it, one choice at a time. That's what faith in yourself really looks like. It's not loud, it's rooted. It's not hype, it's healing. It's what allows you to walk into any room and not need to dominate because your energy already speaks. This is the true identity shift. You're not becoming someone else. You're returning to someone you forgot. And in that return, you master your mind, not by controlling every thought, but by choosing the ones that anchor you. You realize that the inner chaos was never a flaw. It was a sign you'd outgrown who you were pretending to be. So now you choose differently, not because you're broken, but because you're awake. You take massive action, but now it's from alignment. You persist, but now it's from trust, not tension. You speak, but now it's from conviction, not performance. This is how healing becomes power. When you stop negotiating with the world for your value and start living like someone who knows exactly who she is. So ask yourself, if you truly believed you were already enough, what would you stop doing? What would you start saying no to? What would you finally say yes to? The version of you that you've been visualizing. She's not some future fantasy. She's you. She's you. Once you drop the masks, the noise, and the lies, act like her, think like her, build like her. Not to impress the world, but to honor the truth you've been carrying all along. Because when you align your inner world, the outer world starts to catch up. And when you show up healed, you don't chase success, you attract it. You've waited long enough, waited for the sign, the strategy, the surge of confidence. But success doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who decide. Napoleon Hill said it best, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But there's one part people skip. You have to act as if before it ever feels real. Act as if the doors are already open. Act as if the success is already set in motion. Act as if you're already the version of you who gets it done. That's not pretending. That's identity shift. It's when you stop thinking like the person who started and start choosing like the person who finishes. That shift, it changes everything because it rewires how you see challenges. You stop seeing obstacles as reasons to quit. You see them as signals to rise. This is mental programming, not wishful thinking, but powerful choosing. You decide what gets to live in your mind, and you clear out what doesn't serve your mission. You master your mind, so your mind doesn't master you. That's how real change happens. Not in the moment of inspiration, but in the persistence that follows. When no one's clapping, when doubt gets loud, when motivation fades, that's where the separation happens. Most people wait to feel ready. High performers act and let readiness catch up. And the only way they do that is through faith in themselves. Not because the evidence is already there, but because their energy already is. That's the source of true self-confidence. Not perfection, not proof, but unshakable belief that says, I may not have arrived yet, but I'm already aligned. Aligned in action, aligned in energy, aligned in intention. And that alignment, it's magnetic. It pulls the right people, opportunities, and outcomes. Not because of luck, but because of clarity. You're not meant to hustle harder. You're meant to move smarter, to act not from fear, but from certainty. Because this dream inside you, it's not random, it's a calling. And that calling needs you to stop rehearsing and start responding. Respond with decisions, respond with boundaries, respond with massive action. That's what makes vision real. It's not enough to want it, You must move like it's already yours. This is your burning desire, not a fantasy, but a fire. And that fire, it demands movement. It demands belief. It demands that you stop playing small and start living in the bigness you've always felt but haven't yet claimed. You don't need another affirmation. You need activation. So move. Move before it's perfect. Move even when it's messy. Move because your future is waiting, and it can't unfold until you do. You don't have to get it all right. You just have to get it going. Because belief isn't built in silence. It's built in steps. Every time you show up, you build it. Every time you persist, you prove it. Every time you act as if, you become. And that's the point. You're not chasing the dream. You're becoming the person who lives it right now. Not next week, not next launch, now. So trust your alignment. Honor your energy. Claim your next level, not by wishing, but by walking. Because when you walk like it's done, you get things done. This is the identity shift, the turning point, the reason you'll look back and say, that was the moment I stopped hoping and started owning. There's a version of you that already knows how to win, not because she's perfect, but because she's decided. She doesn't wait for signs. She moves in belief. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But few people talk about the second part. You must act as if your vision is already yours, even before anyone else sees it. This isn't about pretending, it's programming. This is mental programming, rooted in conviction, not convenience. It's about shifting your identity before you shift your results. Because belief is not just a thought, it's a behavior. A decision you repeat until it rewires your reality. You've waited for clarity. Now it's time to create it. You've asked for permission. Now it's time to give it to yourself. You've hoped for confidence. Now it's time to embody it. You become the version of you who moves first. You stop chasing proof. You start creating momentum. That's the identity shift that unlocks everything. You master your mind, not by controlling every thought, but by choosing which ones you feed. You align, not by force, but by frequency. Because when you lead from your burning desire, you stop playing small. You stop explaining. You start executing. And that execution, it's not rooted in hustle. It's rooted in self-confidence, the kind that doesn't wait to feel ready, but moves anyway. That's how you act as if, from energy, not ego. And that energy, it pulls the right people, decisions, and direction. Because success isn't about proving yourself. It's about expressing your truth fully. And your truth is this: you've done the healing. You've rebuilt your belief. You've persisted when quitting would have been easier. You've trusted your faith in yourself more than the opinions of others. You've stopped outsourcing your worth and started owning your worthiness. That's why this moment is different. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from strength, from alignment, from a clear identity that says, I no longer operate from fear. I act from clarity. And when doubt returns, you persist. When resistance shows up, you stay rooted. That's unshakable belief, not blind optimism, but anchored knowing. And it fuels your massive action, not scattered, not desperate, intentional, aligned, consistent. Because persistence is not about doing more, it's about staying true longer. You don't pivot out of pressure, you pivot from power. That's how you build a future that matches your vision. One aligned step at a time. This is your moment. Not to wait, but to walk. To lead with energy that says, I belong here. You don't need external validation. You don't need another affirmation. You need activation. You need movement. You need to embody the truth you've always known but haven't fully claimed. You are ready. Not someday, not next launch. Now. So speak from conviction. Move from alignment. Persist with peace. Because the world doesn't change when perfect people perform. It changes when whole people lead. And now, that's you. Not just healing, not just building, but becoming. The version of you who doesn't apologize for ambition, who doesn't shrink to stay safe, who doesn't wait to feel worthy, but moves like it's already done. You are the decision. You are the shift. You are the turning point others are praying for. Not because you're better, but because you're braver. This isn't just about goals. It's about growth. It's about honoring the vision planted in you before the world told you to play small. This is not a test. This is your moment, and it's time to live it. Because the future doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to conviction. When you decide that your vision is non-negotiable, your energy changes. You no longer wait to feel ready. You act as if you already are. You show up with the power of persistence, knowing every step forward is proof. Your frequency shifts, your clarity expands, your results align. Because energy doesn't lie, and yours now speaks certainty. The dream is already done. You are already chosen. Now it's time to walk as her, talk as her, lead as her, because you are her. This is your season. No more rehearsing, no more shrinking, only rising, only becoming. Because when you live like it's already yours, it becomes.